stats. 2-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Third Team, NBA All-Rookie First Team, 3-time CBA Champion, CBA Finals MVP, CBA Foreign MVP, 6-time CBA All-Star, CBA All-Star Game MVP, 3rd-Team All-American, 1st-Team All-ACC, bronze medalist in the 2004 Athens Olympic Team, gold medalist in the 1994 FIBA America's U18 team. And this, of course, is the 1996 first round, 4th overall pick, former New York Knick, Stephon Marbury.
I knew it.
They got statues. When you said movies of him in
when
China.
you said it got worse, I knew it was going to be Marbury.
Where is he?
There's a book about him.
Chinese basketball.
There's a book about him, The Last Shot, and it just brought up bad memories when I had to read that in college.
Don't forget, we all talk all these bad things about how he was a team killer. He ruined what would have been a good thing with Steve Francis. He just absolutely was awful for the Knicks in terms of a team-wise. But he made $15 quality shoes. Lonzo Ball's making garbage for $500.
Yeah, right?
That's
the
true.
Zoes.
Could you have imagined if Stephon Marbury would have stayed on the Timberwolves, Kevin Garnett?
Crazy.
Yeah.
But did you guys like that Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
loved
That
it.
was funny.
That was
I
good.
love it.
I partially thought you were serious.
All right, so Stephon Marbury is my number. We usually do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's stuck in my head. But my most underrated point guard. Dan Beebe, who have you got for most underrated point guard?
My most underrated point guard is 7-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA First Team 97, 4-time All-NBA Second Team, NBA Co-Rookie of the Year 95, 3-time NBA Sportsmanship Award 05-08.
So now Stephon Marbury.
No.
Not Latrell Sprewell either.
Darn.
2-time NCAA Champion 91-92, former Detroit Piston Grant Hill.
Grant Hill. Oh man, what a guy! I hate him.
I hate him too.
I hate Grant Hill.
What do you mean, Grant Hill? What did he do to you?
Yeah.
What do you think he did to me?
Yeah.
Well, just because they're great players, mate. I hate Reggie Miller.
Oh my god, I hate Reggie Miller more. I hate Reggie Miller more because he's an announcer now, and every time, or not. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of
Ray Allen.
No.
Jalen Rose?
Partially.
Well, he was a Knick too.
Because I definitely hate Jalen Rose.
No.
Every time he's on the he's what makes me change ESPN radio when I hear him.
Really? Because I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Just in case.
Nobody local that can actually see us in the street, please.
Yeah.
I'm not worried of running into Jalen Rose at City Line.
Let's just say he is local. He's live, local, and late breaking. I think we all know who that is.
No, it is Reggie Miller. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
It is
Reggie Miller.
Yeah, I hate him as an announcer so much.
I hate his sister just by proxy.
She was so much better than him in college. She must have felt so bad.
I do like the Grant Hill pick. I was always a Grant Hill fan.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
would be.
Grant Hill. You know who I don't like
you're
is
right.
Isaiah Thomas, and not the new one, the old one.
The old. They're not related.
Yeah, they're not related. Actually, he was named because of a bet that his father lost, and he had to name him after the old Isaiah Thomas.
That's great.
Wow.
Really quickly, for my first team, actually, let's go through and we'll say, Tony, who's your number, or who was your point guard?
Kevin Johnson.
Chuckles.
Mark Price.
O'Shea.
Dennis Johnson.
I had Stephon Marbury. Dan Beebe.
Grant Hill.
Okay. So that's our most underrated team. I have a coach that I think the most underrated coach of all time, Avery Johnson.
Clyde
Yeah,
Drexler.
Avery Johnson was good with
Patrick
Mavericks.
Ewing.
yeah, the Mavericks. He was also the Spurs coach for a little bit at one
Yeah.
point, wasn't he?
I think he's the most underrated head coach in my opinion. So let's go through with our honorable mentions. For me, it's a whole second team.
Jeff Hornacek.
Jeff Hornacek.
I only have one left because I used Kevin Johnson and Nate Thurman was on my list. But Alex English.
Alex
eight-time,
English.
All-Star. 10 consecutive years averaging 20-plus a game.
That's nice. Chuckles.
Oh, wow, I had such a long list, but I think that the one that stands out to me, Sean Elliott.
Sean Elliott.
Rifle
some more off of that list.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Just keep going.
I had Rick Smits, Stacey Augman, Kerry Kittles, Derek Coleman, Mark Jackson, Terry Porter, Clifford Robinson, Sean Elliott, Ron Harper, Robert Horry, Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson, Nick Anderson, Sean Kemp, Kiki Vandeweghe, Spud Webb, Chris Webber, Jawan Howard, who didn't seems is he still? I know that he retired, but it seems like he's still playing, and Tim Hardaway.
Very good list.
Tim Hardaway,
Dan O'Shea.
I think the only one that hasn't been mentioned yet is Horace Grant.
Horace Grant.
Yeah,
So
another guy that's that kind of took the back seat.
So for me, the second team at center, Yao Ming.
Okay.
At power forward, current player Kenneth Fareed. At
Kenneth Fareed.
small forward, Steven Jackson. At shooting guard, J.J. Redick. And point guard, the tiny but mighty Earl Boykin.
Earl Boykin.
The
I
coach.
also think Penny Hardaway was underrated. I think he was overlapped by injury.
Yeah, definitely. Coach, Stan Van Gundy.
Oh, okay.
He was very successful. He's definitely
Like
better
SVG.
than... I still remember his brother going back to Larry Johnson. They had that big fight, and he's holding onto his leg, getting dragged along.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It all comes back to the Johnson.
It's all these Van Gundys.
Story of my life.
Dan, do you have any honorable mentions?
Not yet. No.
No? All right.
No.
Really quickly, I like Jeff Van Gundy.
Yeah.
But did he piss anyone else off during the NBA Finals?
He does
was so
every year.
annoying.
Yeah, he was.
Every year.
You watch wrestling, he's like that horrible heel announcer.
He's fine every regular season game, but he was pretty insufferable for the finals. And normally I like him. If I don't like him, I don't. You compare him to who?
He is to the NBA Finals what Joe Buck is to the World Series. For me.
No. Joe Buck is just super boring.
Oh no, Joe Buck is just so annoying.
He was.
I know none of you'd watch this. He did because I had it on the TV.
golf?
But I watched the players, or not the players, the U.S. Open.
I didn't mind it.
Oh no!
You
clearly weren't listening to things that were coming out of his mouth because some of it didn't make any sense.
I know. I heard it.
How long does it take while watching the U.S. Open before the channel shifts to the back of your eyelids? 5 minutes.
Depends on the day.
Okay.
What, the golf? Watching golf? Yeah, I will tell you, one of the most entertaining things about watching the U.S. Open was these people that were, positioned, right behind microphones, it must have been, so that when someone, had a nice shot or said something, they're screaming out something. And, one guy, there's this guy named Xavier, I forgot his last name, but, he hits this drive, and he's just X, go give it to you! And then, and then there's the same guy.
I'm gonna have to watch that
the
guy.
same guy, and he's another guy just tees off. He's biscuits and gravy, and he's just
Montgomery
awesome.
biscuits.
What's that?
The Montgomery biscuits.
the Montgomery biscuits.
Oh my god, it was great. They were just unrelentless.
That is entertaining. I golf a lot, so I will actually watch it for what it's worth, especially if it's a major. I'm not watching the Travelers this weekend. That's not going to happen. I just don't care. But if it's going to be one of the 4 majors, I'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't watch golf. I also apparently we don't watch the time because this is a super long episode.
2-hour show, right?
Yeah, just
Once
about.
you add Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. Definitely, yeah. But Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. Once you add that conversation in, that can go on.
We went off
That's a
the
good
rails.
debate, though.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. We're almost done here. We just got one more thing. Our This Week in Sports History. It's a sport that we haven't talked about yet on this show.
Soccer?
No,
Cricket?
we've talked about how horrible soccer is.
Cricket?
Oh, okay.
No, it's not cricket.
Poker?
Curling.
Nope, let me just read. On June 20th, 1987, New Zealand defeated France 29-9 in Auckland to win the very first ever Rugby World Cup.
Huh.
As soon as you said New Zealand, I knew it was rugby.
Had to be. What else did
New
they?
Zealand
Besides
won?
Stephen Adams,
New Zealand won that?
29-9, which I
Did they
do
haka?
I don't know, but I do just want to mention it's not the first time anyone's ever pounded France in international play. The Germans did it in the 40s.
Fact. Pick up a history book.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's going to do it for a super fun, super long episode of DanDanTony Sports. Make sure you check us out on iTunes, on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter at DanDanTony. On Facebook, we're DanDanTony Sports. Check out our blog, and you can listen to all of our episodes, our past episodes, on the blog site, www.dandantonysports.blogspot.com. So for Dan, Tony, and Chuckles, have yourselves a great night.